Welcome to the deep dive. Have you ever felt like you're putting in all the work? I mean, you're consuming the content, setting goals, trying to level up.
Doing all the right things, supposedly.
Exactly. But somehow, progress feels
Yeah.
stuck. Stress is still high. Maybe that imposter syndrome voice is louder than ever.
Yeah, that's a really common feeling, especially now.
It's like we're using old strategies for a totally new game, Like 2019 tactics in 2025. It's just not cutting it.
Right.
Well, here's a thought we're going to really dig into today, and it might sting a little. The problem isn't just your effort. It's deeper.
Uh-huh.
Your brain might be, well, physically wired for your old identity.
Yeah.
For yesterday. And if we don't tackle that wiring,
All that hard work.
exactly, it could be getting canceled out by your own internal system.
Yeah.
It's like trying to run, I don't know, some super advanced AI software on an old dial-up modem.
Huh. Yeah, good analogy. It's just going to crash. And that's exactly what we're diving into today. How you can quite literally, intentionally rewire your brain for a new identity. We're drawing on some really powerful principles here, especially from work like Dr. Joe Dispenza's.
Okay.
And look, this isn't just abstract theory. Think of this as your neuroscientific battle plan for navigating, well, everything that's coming in 2025.
Battle plan, I like that.
Because let's face it, in this age of AI taking over tasks and constant digital noise, the most crucial skill isn't just marketing or tech anymore.
Right.
It's the ability to consciously create a new mind whenever you need it, on demand.
Okay, so what's the plan then? What are we walking away with?
Great question. So over the next few minutes, we're going to give you a really practical step-by-step process. 3 key things.
Okay.
First, how to basically starve your brain's hidden addiction to failure and those negative loops.
Addiction to failure. Wow, okay.
Yeah, it sounds weird, but we'll unpack it. Second, how to install what we're calling future memories, ways to make success feel almost automatic.
Future memories. Intriguing.
And third, how to switch on your brain's CEO mode right before you make a big decision or need to perform.
Love that. CEO mode.
So yeah, we invite you to really lean in here because getting these skills down isn't just nice to have personal growth stuff. It's pretty much essential for actually thriving, not just surviving, in the world right now.
All right, let's do it. So that first point, the brain's addiction to failure. That sounds so counterintuitive. Why would our bodies get addicted to feeling bad, like anxiety or frustration?
It is fascinating, isn't it? But think about it this way. Dr. Dispenza talks about how the body kind of becomes the unconscious mind. It gets used to certain chemical states. Yeah, like that rush of cortisol or adrenaline when you're stressed or maybe irritated or feeling unworthy. Your body learns to expect, even crave that specific chemical cocktail.
So even though it feels bad consciously,
Unconsciously, your body's like, familiar territory, that knot in your stomach, that quickness to anger, that becomes your baseline, your emotional home, even if it's a miserable home. Your body literally starts demanding its familiar drug, the chemistry of stress or worry or whatever your go-to negative state is, which is why just telling yourself, think positive, often falls flat, right?
totally. It feels like you're lying to yourself.
Because your physiology is screaming for the familiar negativity.
Okay, so it's literally a physical thing, not just in my head. And you mentioned this gets worse in 2025. How does the digital world play into this?
Oh, massively. Think about it. The whole digital landscape, social media, news feeds, it's almost perfectly designed to feed this addiction.
Oh, so
Well, the constant outrage you see online, the low-level anxiety from the 24/7 news cycle, the envy that creeps in when you're scrolling through perfectly curated lives,
Yeah.
each one gives you a little hit of those survival chemicals. It keeps wiring your brain for reaction, for threat spotting, not for creation, not for building.
right, you're constantly putting out fires instead of designing the building.
Exactly. You cannot build an empire or even just a really fulfilling life from a constant state of emergency. You're just reacting.
Okay, so this is huge. If our bodies are actually wired to crave these states, what's the very first practical thing someone listening can do to start breaking free?
The first step is actually really simple, but don't let the simplicity fool you. It's incredibly powerful. We call it the state audit.
State audit. Okay, sounds official.
Yeah, but it's not about judging yourself at all. Zero judgment. It's just data collection, pure observation.
Got it. So what do I do?
At the end of today, or maybe even thinking back over the last few hours, ask yourself one simple question. What emotion did I live by today? Was it impatience, worry, frustration, overwhelm? Just try to name the dominant feeling. Be honest, that feeling. That's likely your emotional drug right now.
Okay, so identify the main negative emotion I was running on. Then what? Do I try and squash it?
No, absolutely not. That usually backfires. For the next 24 hours, your only task is this. Just become aware when that emotion pops up.
Just notice it.
Just notice it. That's it. Don't fight it. Don't judge it. Don't try to change it immediately. Just observe it. You could even say to yourself internally, there's that anxiety, or okay, impatience is here.
Like being a scientist watching an experiment.
Precisely. That's called metacognition, thinking about your thinking, or in this case, observing your feelings. The moment you observe the program, you are no longer being the program.
Okay, so you create separation.
Exactly. You're stepping outside of that automatic chemical reaction. That simple act of awareness starts to cut off the supply line to that old emotional addiction. It tells your body, hey, I see you, but I'm in charge now.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Think of, say, a founder who's kind of addicted to worry. Always checking stats, bracing for bad news.
Yeah, I know the type. Maybe I am the type sometimes.
Right. So the pattern is worry, check stats, maybe brief relief, find something new to worry about. It's a loop. But the moment they catch themselves and think, I'm feeling the urge to worry right now, they've stepped out.
They're not just in the worry anymore.
Exactly. They're observing it. They're signaling to their body, I'm the boss here, not this old program. It's the first step to reclaiming control.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So if this is resonating with you listening right now, if you can kind of feel an emotional loop you get stuck in, just take a second to name it. That awareness alone is huge.
It really is the starting point.
All right, so once we start noticing and detaching from these old states, how do we start building the future we actually want? You mentioned something called future memories. That sounds a bit out there. Tell me about mental rehearsal.
Yeah, it can sound like science fiction, but the neuroscience is solid. Dr. Dispenza's work and others shows pretty clearly that when you mentally rehearse an action intensely and with focus, your brain physically changes as if you've already done it. It lays down new neural pathways. Your brain, surprisingly, doesn't make a huge distinction between a vividly imagined experience and a real-world one.
Wow, okay, so what does that mean for us practically?
It means you can start building the neural hardware, the brain wiring, for the person you want to become. The successful entrepreneur, the confident speaker, the focused creator, whoever that future you is.
Before you actually are that person.
Exactly. Before you have the external evidence, you're essentially installing the success software onto your brain's hardware in advance. You're pre-paving the neural roads for your desired future.
That feels incredibly important right now because, like you said, with AI doing routine stuff, our value is in those complex, high-stakes moments.
Absolutely.
And that's often where old insecurities or doubts can trip us up, right? During the big presentation, the crucial negotiation.
Precisely. Mental rehearsal is like running hundreds of simulations in the safety of your mind. You get to debug your performance, find the sticking points, and strengthen the pathways for success before you're actually in the hot seat.
So you make the desired outcome feel almost familiar. Second nature.
You got it. It helps prevent your old identity, your old doubts, from hijacking the moment because you've already built the neural blueprint for your future self succeeding.
Okay, I'm sold. How do we do this? What's the action plan for installing these future memories?
All right, here's the plan. For the next 7 days, commit to just 10 minutes each morning. Call it your future you rehearsal.
10 minutes. Okay, doable.
And pick one specific key outcome or identity you want to embody. Don't try to rehearse everything, just one thing. Let's say it's effortlessly closing a $20,000 client.
Okay, got my one thing. Now what?
Now you close your eyes and you rehearse the entire event in your mind as vividly as possible. Engage all your senses if you can, but crucially, focus on 3 things.
3 things.
1, what do you think in that successful moment? What are your thoughts? Maybe it's, I know my value, or this is a perfect fit, or I've got this.
Okay, think.
2, how do you ACT? How do you carry yourself? Maybe you stand taller, you listen intently, your handshake is firm, you speak clearly. Rehearse the actions.
What?
And 3, this is absolutely the most important part. How do you feel? You have to generate the feeling of success in your body right now.
Feel it now, before it happens.
Yes, feel the gratitude, the confidence, the certainty, the accomplishment, the relief, whatever that success feels like. Let that emotion wash over you during the rehearsal.
So think, act, and critically feel.
Exactly. That feeling component is what really rewires the brain and body. By doing this consistently, even for just 10 minutes a day, you are literally creating a memory of a future that hasn't happened in physical reality yet.
And the body follows the memory.
The body believes the memory. And when the body believes it, it starts to act in alignment with that new future memory rather than being constantly pulled back by the memories of the past. It makes the future feel less like hoping and more like remembering.
That's really powerful. Okay, so we're breaking old patterns with awareness, building new ones with rehearsal. But what about those moments where we just need to be sharp, focused, make good decisions now? That brings us to the CEO brain, right?
Yeah.
The frontal lobe.
Yes, exactly. Think of your frontal lobe, the part right behind your forehead, as the CEO of your brain. It's the seat of intention, planning, higher level thinking, creativity. It's what makes you conscious and deliberate.
The boss of the brain.
Pretty much. And Dr. Dispenza explains that when your frontal lobe is really activated, something cool happens. It actually turns down the volume on other brain areas.
Like what?
Like the sensory overload from the environment, those knee-jerk emotional reactions from your survival centers, even your obsession with time, past regrets, future anxieties.
So it clears the noise.
It clears the noise. It shifts you out of that reactive survival mode and puts you squarely into creator mode. Focused, intentional, possibility-oriented.
But the challenge is, most of us aren't living there most of the time, are we? Why is the CEO so often offline?
Well, because we spend so much time reacting. Reacting to emails, reacting to notifications, reacting to problems, reacting to other people's demands. We're living as the body driven by the environment and familiar emotions.
Instead of as the conscious director.
Exactly. The CEO is basically asleep at the wheel, letting the old automatic programs run the show.
And in 2025, with attention being maybe our most valuable currency, letting that happen is dangerous.
It's incredibly costly. Every platform, every app, every piece of news is vying for your attention. Activating your frontal lobe is like the neurological equivalent of closing all those mental browser tabs that are draining your energy.
Okay, I need this. How do we wake up the CEO? What's the action plan for getting into that mode, especially before something important?
All right, this is your new pre-performance ritual. Use it before any task where you need to be at your best. A creative session, a tough conversation, strategic planning, anything that requires focus and intent.
Okay, ready?
It's simple again. Sit down, eliminate distractions, phone away, notifications off. Just get quiet for a moment.
Quiet, check.
Then ask yourself a powerful, open-ended question, something that points your brain towards creation and possibility.
Like what? Give me examples.
It could be, what would be the greatest expression of myself right now? Or maybe, how can I create the most value in this next hour? Or even, what's possible here that I haven't considered?
Okay, open-ended questions.
Yeah, and here's the kicker. You don't necessarily need to find an immediate, brilliant answer. It's the act of asking the question itself that does the magic.
How so?
Because asking that kind of forward-looking, creative question fires up the frontal lobe. It sends a signal to your entire nervous system. Okay, we're shifting gears. We're moving out of reaction and into creation mode now. Pause the survival programs.
So the question itself is the trigger.
It's the trigger. You'll often feel an almost immediate shift internally. Maybe the mental chatter quiets down. You might feel a sense of calm, focus, open-mindedness. That feeling, that's your CEO stepping up.
From scattered anxiety to focused possibility. I like it.
That's the goal.
Okay, let's try and weave all this together now. We've talked about breaking emotional addictions, rehearsing the future, activating the CEO brain. What's the big picture? How does this fundamentally change how we operate?
The big picture is about understanding the signals you're sending out. Think of it this way. Your thoughts, those conscious intentions, they send an electrical signal out into the quantum field, if you like.
Okay, thoughts are electrical signals.
And your feelings, those emotions you cultivate, they generate a magnetic charge. That's the magnet that draws experiences back to you.
Thoughts send, feelings draw. Like a broadcast and a receiver.
Exactly. So when you're living in survival mode, dominated by anger, fear, guilt, unworthiness, what kind of signal are you broadcasting?
Probably a weak, messy one.
Weak, incoherent, chaotic. And what does that magnetic charge attract? More reasons to feel angry, fearful, unworthy? The universe, or just reality, reflects back what you're putting out. It's not personal, it's physics.
Right. You get more of what you are.
When you consciously, deliberately practice generating elevated emotions, feeling genuine gratitude for abundance you don't have yet, feeling the love for a relationship that's still forming, feeling the wholeness before the healing.
Through things like mental rehearsal.
Yes. Then you are broadcasting a powerful, coherent signal. Your magnetic charge changes. You become a magnet for the future. You are mentally and emotionally rehearsing.
So the core message here isn't that you're broken or need fixing.
Not at all. You're not broken. You're just wired, maybe very effectively, for yesterday's reality or last year's reality.
And the game in Clum 25, for entrepreneurs, leaders, creators, it's about consciously choosing the wiring.
It's about becoming the master electrician of your own brain. The winners won't just be the ones who hustle the hardest. They'll be the ones who deliberately, purposefully rewire their minds for the future they want to create.
So the choice we have really every single day is pretty stark when you put it like that.
It is. Will you continue to be a living memory of your past traumas, failures, and limitations? Or will you choose today to be a living vision of your future possibilities?
Wow. Okay. Memory of the past or vision of the future.
That's the daily choice. So it really boils down to this. Stop reacting. Start rehearsing.
Build a brain that doesn't just cope with 2025.
But actively creates it, shapes it, thrives in it.
So maybe final thought for everyone listening. As you go about your day, your week, what's just one old belief, one limiting emotion, one reactive pattern that you're ready to just observe, to become aware of? Name it, acknowledge it without judgment. And just know that simple act of awareness, that's the first, maybe the most crucial step to becoming someone entirely new.